the same things that a lot of us adults are doing, you know, just scrolling up on our phones, using all these technologies, playing games, stuff like that. The same thing you're doing as a kid. Little kid, you be like, hey, yeah, you know, my mom can pick you up. That's what I want y'all to let me know. What y'all want to see me do in the woods, okay? I need y'all to specifically tell me.
The Lord, He gives me peace. I think I'm on my knees. He gives me all I need. I can't go on, I'll never be lonely. The Lord, He gives me peace. I think I'm on my knees. He gives me all I need. I can't go on, I'll never be alone. The Lord, He gives me peace. I think I'm on my knees. He gives me all I need. I can't go on, I'll never be alone. The Lord, He gives me peace. I think I'm on my knees. He gives me all I need. I can't go on, I'll never be alone.
What's up, y'all? So, today's a new day. Got my babies right here. Say hey, Tyson. Say hey, Dre. So, right now, I'm just grateful to be alive, y'all. You know, right now, I'm actually about to go see what I can do about, you know, this little mustache right here. Or I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all right now. As y'all can see, I got my clippers right here. Then I also got my portable power station. All right. Now, I'm about to cut my hair.
I'm gon' shine, I'm gon' pop, like my rhyme, watch me rock, got my guy on the top, system hating, not gon' flop, yeah,
I think I did a great job. Know what I'm saying, y'all? But that's how I basically, and then you have to turn it off, y'all. Remember, you gotta turn it off. You got AC, and that's off. Go ahead and unplug it. So yeah, that's how I like it. That's how I get right in the woods, y'all. So, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I miss when I was a kid. I miss when I was a kid, y'all. Because when I was a kid, I didn't have that many problems. When I was a kid, I didn't have that many stressors, y'all. It was just like, every day was fun. Y'all, look. I'm gonna show y'all how much water we got. Y'all see that? That is a lot of water. It is filling up, most definitely. Okay, y'all, I gotta turn this off. But, no cap, I really did miss when I was a kid. Like, I miss when I was a baby. Because when I was a baby, it was like, not even a baby, just like a kid. It was like, I got my alcohol. Everything was just so much easier. Chill, lay back, you know. Woo! Whew. That burn. Everything was just chill, laid back, you know. And it wasn't that many stressors at all, you know. The only thing that we really was worried about when we was kids was who was going to be our friend, you know, or who was going to like us for real. And it's like now, when we growing up, it's like we start to see when we get older that we really don't care who our friend is or who likes us. And the only thing we really care about is how much money we got in our pocket. As kids, we didn't care about how much money we had. The only thing we cared about is how much money our parents were spending on us. The only thing we cared about was how much fun that we was having, you know, or how late we could stay up at night, you know, or what new video game was about to come out. That's the only thing we cared about. And I miss them days, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, I miss them days. You know, as a young kid, you know, adults like to tell us, you know, don't grow up so fast, don't grow up so fast. Okay, I understand now. You know, people, they don't really want to explain why to not grow up so fast. I don't know if they're trying to scare us, but you need to scare the kids. I'm not, you know, y'all want to scare them with this, that, and the third. Y'all scare, like, at the end of the day, I'm not saying scare kids, you know, you don't want to traumatize them. But I'm saying you got to, like, show them the real world, because if you let kids just have fun and just play their whole childhood, going into adulthood, and when they go into adulthood, they'll play. And, you know, hopefully they'll make a career out of it. But most of the times, you know, they don't have a good head on their shoulders or a good support system. They're not. Y'all, when I was a kid, y'all know what I wanted to be? I wanted to be a social worker. Because it was like, growing up, we always was going through, you know, situations where it was a lot of social workers were in our life anyway, you know. So I just loved how those people would like to help, you know, or it was their job to help. So I was like, you know what, when I grow up, I'm gonna be that type of person. But growing up, I saw that these social workers were just the workers. You know, I saw that these social workers, they didn't really have any power. They were just the person behind the computer typing up all the information to send it off to somebody higher to make the decision. So then I started looking to, you know, be the boss. Ooh. And did I not know that, you know, being the boss, it sure does take a cost. And, you know, as a kid, I didn't know that the cost would be my life. I can't even say my time. I can't say my purpose. I can say my life. Because if you don't go the right way, then you can only go the wrong way. And if you go the wrong way, it only take one shot to go the wrong way and everything is over, right? Same for, it only take one shot for everything and the right thing in the right direction, everything is good for you. I didn't understand about how crucial those decisions were until I became an adult. Being an adult is so hard. Like, it's so hard. It's so much work. It's stressful. It's lonely. I don't understand why we see being an adult as the most best thing on this earth. You know, we need to wake our children up and actually prepare them for being an adult to do it the right way. Yeah, they can play, they can fool around you know, a little bit, but they also have to be learning something that's going to teach them something and give them some structure to deal with this real world, y'all. Because if you got a son, you know, or daughter, you gotta let them know and show them this real world and what it could be. Okay? What it could be if they put a little bit of what God gave them onto this earth. And that's what God gave us the ability to do, man. He gave us all a different story for us so we can put towards his glory. Amen. And it rhymes, so it's true. For real. Yeah, I miss being a kid, you know, waking up, you know, Saturday mornings, smelling the breakfast, just seeing the bright, you know, sunshine, knowing I ain't got to go to school, knowing that I can do whatever I want. I can just go outside and just be free. You know, even school days, you know, because, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I had A's and B's, y'all, but, like, even school days, you know, when I was a kid, I still felt like I had no worries, you know, because the main worry of this society, which kids don't have to realize, is having to find a place to stay. You know, and if you got a whole bunch of friends, or, you know, you're in a band, baseball team, or you got a whole bunch of friends or family around you, then yeah, you might be good. But what about everybody else? There's a lot of kids out here that don't have a stable structure, but they're still surviving because they're just a kid. You know, I feel like women, children, and dogs is only meant to be happy. You know, and at the end of the day, if you are a child and you are a boy, you are not going to be a child for long. You are going to be a man. So you have to do what a man has to do, and that's provide and protect and to teach his loved ones and his family around him. And, you know, if you are a kid that really wasn't shown that in the beginning, then it's going to be really, really hard. And it's going to take a lot of training. It's going to take a lot of willpower to actually achieve something that you've never even seen before, something that you've never done before. Hey. You know, I want to be the best father I can be, y'all. And I can only go based off of what I've seen other people do. You know, I can't go based off of my life because, you know, I didn't have that in my life. And the way I have to do that is to dig deep. As a kid, we don't have to dig deep. We just got to stay on the surface and just play. You know, just swing back and forth. We can just, you know, I miss those days, you know. Going outside and saying, hey, is Johnny there? Is Jimmy there? Can he come out and play? You know, I know y'all miss whenever the ice cream truck came and everybody was running straight to the ice cream truck. I know everybody missed that. Okay, come on now. You go into the basketball court, all those little after school sessions. Come on now. Waking up in the middle of the night, sneaking in the refrigerator. Everybody, come on. Come on now. Come on now. Sneaking over, you know, sleeping over at your friend's house, having them all-nighters, y'all. Not having to worry about anything. Just be like, hey, Mom, can I have a couple dollars now? You know? And it's like now you're an adult. You know, don't nobody have sleepovers now. You know, people have babies, you know, responsibilities. You know, you got to drive. And as a little kid, you be like, hey, yeah, you know, my mom can pick you up. You know? And look at us now. You know, we're doing the same thing for our kids, y'all. I'm not saying that kids shouldn't have a good childhood life, but I'm saying we should also apply the real world into the childhood so that when they get into the real world, they can be at least aware and prepared, you know? And if they're not aware, then honestly, they didn't care, you know? But a lot of us wasn't aware because I, you know, as a young kid, tried to prepare for this. I worked a job, you know, I had an apartment for a long time, you know, and I thought that I was on the right path of just living the regular citizen society life. But I had to learn that that was all false and that they want us to just live the type of ways that they want us to live. Yeah, you know, in this society, you got to live that way because that's the way that they got it. But, you know, just because they said it don't mean it is right. And that's all I got to say, you know. But y'all, I miss being a kid. Y'all let me know some things y'all like to do when y'all was a kid and just memories of, you know, how it's different from now and then. It's just different, y'all. You know, being a kid, you know, you could just sit back all day and just do nothing. You know, really just, and I feel like the same things that a lot of us adults are doing, you know, just scrolling up on our phones, just using all these technologies, playing games, stuff like that. The same thing you're doing as a kid, but you're using all these extra, but you have all these extra responsibilities and stuff. So, I don't know, y'all. Y'all let me know if y'all want to be a kid again or y'all continue wanting to be an adult. I know you go, you know, as an adult, you got more freedom. You know, you can do what you want. But if you had to do it all over again, what would you different? What would you do different? You know, would you change something? Because me, I'm not going to lie. If I could do it all over again, I probably wouldn't fight so hard. Like, I probably wouldn't fight so hard all the help that people were trying to give me because, you know, as a young kid, y'all, when I was in DSS and social services and stuff like that, and, you know, basically in the custody of the state, I didn't trust a lot of them, you know, and it was hard to get a lot of my issues dealt with because I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to talk to a therapist or nothing. And I just had a whole bunch of built up anger inside of me. And yeah, I just feel like if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't be so angry. You know, I wouldn't be so angry, y'all. But at the end of the day, you know, my life is a result of my experiences. So, you know, I am what I am, and and I'm gonna be what God made me to be. Y'all just let me know what y'all like about being a child and what y'all like about being an adult. Y'all let me know what something that you would do different if you was a child again. And if you can, please hit that like button, y'all. It does help me so that more people can see this video and, you know, just be more informed about, you know, what's going on, y'all, in my situation. You know, I love y'all. At the end of the day, I'm gonna keep growing because every day I want to keep knowing y'all, but I'm just trying to have peace. And y'all gotta understand, you know, everybody's peace is different. Everybody's utopia is different, right? And my peace, y'all, is just, you know, me being above water and not drowning, you know, for now. So, you know, I love y'all. You know, my dogs love y'all. Look, I'm finna run up on Tyson. What you do? Hey, boy. Yeah. He said, "What you doing, man?" He said, I was out my alone time with my rock. But yeah, y'all. I love y'all. Stay tuned to the next episode. And remember I said, hit that like button if y'all watched it this far. And let me know one thing that you would do different if you was still a child. You know, if you could go back and be a child again, what would you do different? Hey, man. It's Scar. And I'm gone. I'm not trying to get too boring for y'all, but you know what I'm saying? Y'all let me know what y'all want to see me do in the woods. You hear me? That's what I want y'all to let me know. What y'all want to see me do in the woods. Okay? I need y'all to specifically tell me what you want to see Scar do in the woods. And please, don't say no dumb stuff. Alright? Because y'all, we have a nice, you know, clean home here, y'all, and I clean up every single day. Not gonna lie, you can ask my dogs. But so serious, you know. Let me know what y'all want to see me do in the woods, because I feel like it's endless things. I feel like it's endless things that, you know, we could do. You know, but I want to do what y'all want me to do, if that makes sense. You know, and I'm saying in the woods, don't get on here talking negative. Please, don't get on here talking negative. Okay? All right, that's all I'm asking. Don't get on here talking crazy. All right, I love y'all, man. Scar.